What's happening to a state government, any state, what's happening to a city government is a double whammy. You have increased expenses because of the COVID virus, and you have a tremendous loss of revenue because all those businesses are closed, right? And all those people are out of work. People are out of work, they're not earning income, they're not paying income tax. Businesses are closed, they're not making money, they're not paying business revenue. So we're spending more to take care of the COVID virus, and we're receiving less. In the middle of all this, we have to balance a budget. So how do you do a budget when you have expenses going out and a loss of revenue? We estimate the loss of revenue is somewhere between $10 to $15 billion, which, you know, all these numbers are hard to give a context. That is a ton of money for the state of New York's budget. We were waiting to see what the federal government did before we determined what we had to do, because water flows downstream, right? If the federal government had taken an action that helped state governments, city governments, et cetera, that would have put us in one situation. We now know what they've done. They passed their $2 trillion stimulus bill. They say maybe they'll come back and there'll be another bill, but maybe. But we know what they did do with the stimulus bill. The stimulus bill helped unemployment insurance, and that is a good thing. It helped small businesses, and that is a good thing. It did not help local governments or state governments, and it did not address the governmental loss. And the federal officials, the ones who are being honest, will admit that. New York State receives $5 billion from the stimulus, New York State government. And it's earmarked only for COVID virus expenses, which means it does absolutely nothing for us in terms of lost revenue to the state. The only thing it's doing is helping us on the COVID virus expenses, which is nice, but the bigger problem is on the lost revenues. The congressional action, in my opinion, simply failed to address the governmental need. I spoke to all the officials involved. I spoke to our House delegation. I spoke to our senators. And I believe what they did failed to meet the governmental need. I'm disappointed. I said I was disappointed. I find it irresponsible. I find it reckless. Emotion is a luxury, and we don't have the luxury at this time of being emotional about what they did. When this is over, I promise you I'm going to give them a piece of my mind, but I would say to them today, this is an extraordinary time in this nation, and it's an extraordinary time for government. This was the time to put politics aside and partisanship aside. This is the time for governmental leaders to stop making excuses and just do your job. Do your job. We're one nation. You know the places in this nation that have the most intense problems. Address the places that need the help. And this is not a time to point fingers. This is not a time to make excuses. This is not a time to blame everyone else. We've lived with that in Washington for years. Now is a time to actually step up, do the right thing, and do your job.